LeBron James is only 29 years of age, which means, given his health, and it sure looks at a high level right now, he's got a whole lot of basketball ahead of him. But there is no way that right now LeBron James is better than Larry Bird was. Larry Bird was a much better shooter than LeBron James. He was a much, much better free throw shooter than LeBron James. Larry led the league in free throw percentage 4 times. Larry Bird was a better rebounder than LeBron James. I can just back it up with the stats. He would get a couple of games more than LeBron. Larry Bird was as good a passer as LeBron, and you know how high a regard I have for LeBron's point guard skills, but Larry Bird could play point forward with anybody at any level in any era. And even though I'm going to give you that LeBron is a better all-around defender, certainly a perimeter defender, than Larry Bird, Larry Bird was very underrated as a defensive disruptor, as a stealer of the basketball, averaged about 2 steals a game for his career, and wound up 31st all-time in NBA steals. And for a small forward, that is high. Not a guard, a small forward. 31st all-time in steals, and you do remember what happened Game 5 at the end of Game 5 against the Pistons in the '88 Eastern Conference Finals. Bird steals the ball. I don't need to get into that anymore. And here's the capper. Here's the case closer, Stephen A. Smith. Larry Bird was right there with Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson in mental toughness and leadership, which gives him a huge intangibles advantage over LeBron James. And I hate to dredge this up, but for the sake of this argument, I must. There is no way that Larry Bird would have ever suffered the meltdown that LeBron did in the 2011 NBA Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. And there is no way that Larry Bird would have ever come apart down the stretch in Game 6 of last year's NBA Finals the way LeBron did before Ray Allen got him off the hook and saved his legacy with that corner 3 at the end of regulation in Game 6. Please don't get me started on that. So all of that said, right here, right now, Larry Bird remains the greatest small forward ever, period, end of story.
Skip Bayless, I will give you this. I am not going to call ESPN and demand that you get drug tested. I'm not going to do that to you because
I'm afraid I'm going to have to do that to you.
Anytime, listen, if you mention Larry Bird, he's in the discussion. Considering the fact that this dude is a 3-time champion and a 3-time league MVP, one of the greatest shooters that I've ever seen, had a heart. Listen, Julius Erving didn't punch him in the face for nothing. You understand? He was talking junk to Julius Erving. This is what I'm going to do to you, and here's how I am going to do it. And there are plenty of players in NBA history who will tell you just that, as Dominique Wilkins. Larry Bird was a bad man. No question. I would dare say he'd probably be number 2 for me, but he ain't number 1 above LeBron James. And here's why. He was never the total package that LeBron James is. You're right. He could pass the ball very well. So could LeBron. Okay? LeBron could play 4 different positions. You could make the argument that Bird could have. I would tell you, yes, offensively, not defensively. Larry Bird wasn't in the same stratosphere as LeBron James defensively. And that's where you and I part ways, because to me, you disrespect Scottie Pippen all the time because you're not taking into account his defensive prowess. I understand that offensively, he was the sidekick to Michael Jordan, and he has to accept that. And there are times that Scottie Pippen believes that he deserves more acclaim than he received. People like you don't give it to him. People like me do, but not for the reasons he wants. He wants to be seen, or at least I don't want to disrespect Scottie Pippen because I got a load of respect for him, but he wants to be seen to, in the same light as Jordan, because Jordan would not have won those 6 rings without him. He's right about that. But Jordan was so surreal offensively. Scottie Pippen wasn't even in the same stratosphere. But defensively, that matters, Skip. You got to be able to stop people. And even though I'm not sitting there and looking at Bird and saying, you know, he's some scrub, he didn't care about defense, I would never say that about him. He wasn't on the same planet as LeBron James. He didn't have his athleticism. He didn't have his speed. He didn't have his agility. He didn't have his ability to guard any position the way LeBron James does. Offensively, although LeBron delivers it differently, he still delivers numbers that exceed Bird's. And that's what you have to take into consideration. Bird, career 24-point-per-game scorer, 49% shooting, 37% from three-point range. LeBron James at 26, 27 a game, similar numbers, okay? I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, Skip, you would have had this argument dead to rights if LeBron didn't have any titles. But the fact that he has two, even though he's lost in the finals, so did Bird. Now, Bird lost to Magic, okay, and we understand that. But the point is, Bird has lost in an NBA Finals. LeBron has lost in the NBA Finals. Bird has 3 rings. LeBron has 2, possibly 3. Bird has 3 league MVPs. LeBron has 4. So we have to look at this skill set. And I'm telling you, if you want me to get, if you need a shooter, I'm going with Bird. If you need somebody that's clutch money, I'm going with Bird because I know that Bird's a better shooter. Just like Kobe's a better shooter than LeBron, okay? But I'm talking about, when you talk about the total game, all facets taken into consideration, Mark Jackson is absolutely, positively correct. LeBron James is the greatest small forward of all time.